If you had a headset that showed you exactly how to make your life perfect, would you put it on? Or do you think the flaws are what make life worth living? Leo was a junk flipper. Not a glamorous job, but it paid the bills. He'd spend his weekends digging through the forgotten treasures of other people's lives, the state sales, garage cleanouts, dusty attics. His motto was simple: one person's trash is another person's eBay listing. It was at an estate sale in a sleepy Ohio town that he found it. Tucked away in the corner of a cluttered garage, under a pile of old newspapers and rusted tools, was a wooden crate. Stenciled on the side in faded black paint were the words, "Project. Hindsight. Do not open until 2026. Curiosity got the better of him. He pried open the lid. Inside, nestled in yellowed foam padding, was a headset. It was a bizarre piece of tech, a clunky chrome contraption covered in vacuum tubes and a mess of copper wiring. It looked like something out of a 1950s sci-fi movie. Alongside it was a small, leather-bound manual. Leo flipped it open. The language looked like English, but the words were strange, futuristic, words that hadn't been invented yet. He asked the old woman running the sale what it was. She just shrugged and said her late husband was always tinkering with strange things. $5 and it's yours, she said. Leo handed over the cash. It was the best and worst $5 he would ever spend. Back in his workshop, Leo couldn't resist. He brushed the dust off the headset and, with a deep breath, placed it over his head. It hung to life, a low thrum vibrating against his temples. He expected to see visions of the future, lottery numbers, stock market trends. But what he saw was different. He wasn't seeing the future, he was seeing potential. He looked at a broken toaster on his workbench, a forgotten project from months ago. Through the lenses of the headset, a shimmering, ghost-like image of the toaster appeared, perfectly fixed and gleaming. The broken heating element was whole, the dented side was smooth, the frayed cord was new. He stumbled out of his workshop and into his driveway. He looked at his old, beat-up car, a reliable but rusting sedan with a permanent dent in the fender. The headset whirred, and the image shifted. Suddenly, he was looking at a sleek, high-speed maglev vehicle, hovering inches off the ground, its chrome body reflecting a world without imperfections. The headset wasn't showing him the future. It was showing him the extraordinary version of common things. It was showing him the blueprint of what everything could be. In that moment, Leo understood. The man who owned that garage wasn't a hoarder. He was an inventor, a visionary who could see the masterpiece hidden inside the mundane. He hadn't been collecting junk. He had been collecting potential. Leo was hooked. The headset became his constant companion. He called it hindsight. He started small, using the blueprints it provided to fix everything around his house. The leaky faucet became a marvel of water-saving engineering. The creaky floorboards were transformed into a perfectly balanced, silent surface. He wasn't just repairing things. He was optimizing them, elevating them to their most perfect state. His life became a project, and hindsight was the architect. His junk-flipping business exploded. He'd buy a box of broken electronics, and hindsight would show him how to combine their parts into a single, revolutionary device he could sell for thousands. He optimized his finances, his diet, even his workout routine. He was becoming the perfect version of himself, living in a perfect world of his own creation. But a shadow was growing in the corner of his new perfect life. The more he wore the headset, the more the real world started to feel dull, gray, flawed. The vibrant, extraordinary world he saw through the lenses made his actual reality look like a low-resolution photograph. The taste of a simple home-cooked meal was bland compared to the optimized nutritional profile the headset suggested. The warmth of the actual sun on his skin felt weak compared to the perfected wavelength blueprint. He started to resent reality for not living up to the potential he could so clearly see. The breaking point came with his girlfriend, Clara. He loved her. She was funny, kind, a little clumsy, and told the worst jokes. But when he looked at her through the headset, he saw something else. He saw the idealized partner. This version of Clara had perfect posture and encyclopedic knowledge of every topic, and never, ever told a bad joke. She was flawless, and she was terrifying. The headset's vision of her was a cold, porcelain statue, a perfect being with none of the beautiful, messy imperfections that made him fall in love with the real Clara. He looked at the woman he loved and saw only her flaws, her deviations from the perfect blueprint. He realized the potential was killing the present. The quest for perfection was destroying his ability to appreciate reality. Frantically, he tore through the inventor's workshop, which he'd bought along with the crate. He was searching for answers, for a way to turn it off. Tucked inside the original manual, he found a hidden final entry from the inventor, a handwritten note on a yellowed piece of paper. The scrawled text read, "I built a way to see perfection, but I forgot how to live with mistakes. I engineered the flaws out of my world and found myself living in a beautiful, empty museum. The beauty of the world isn't in its potential. It's in its friction, its imperfections, its beautiful, glorious mess." Leo tried to rip the headset off, but it was no longer just a device. Its vision had seeped into his own perception. Even with his eyes closed, he could see the shimmering blueprints overlaid on the world. As panic set in, a new vision flooded his senses, more powerful than any before. He saw a storm approaching, not just a storm, but a perfect disaster, a meteorological event of optimized destruction. The headset, ever the problem solver, immediately presented a solution, a blueprint for an impenetrable shield to protect his home. But the materials it required were problematic. To build it, he had to strip his neighbors' houses of their common parts, their copper pipes, their roof shingles, the aluminum from their siding. He was faced with a choice, the ultimate optimization problem. He could follow the blueprint, become the perfect architect of a safe, lonely world, and survive the storm in his perfect fortress while his neighbors faced it unprepared. Or he could be a common man in a messy, dangerous world, part of a community, flawed and vulnerable. The blueprint showed him a world of perfect survival. But the inventor's note echoed in his mind. The beauty of the world is in its friction. Standing in the garage where it all began, the hum of the headset a deafening roar in his ears, Leo made his choice. He gripped the chrome device with both hands, lifted it high above his head, and with a guttural scream, he smashed it against the concrete floor. There was a crack, a shower of sparks, and then silence. The glowing blueprints vanished. The world snapped back into focus, fuzzy and low def. It was gray, it was dusty, and his car still had that dent in the fender. Everything was imperfect, and it was beautiful. Just then, the garage door opened, and Clara walked in, a worried look on her face. She saw the shattered device on the floor, then looked at him. "Everything okay?" she asked. She then told him a terribly unfunny joke about a squirrel and an acorn. It was awful. And Leo laughed. A real, genuine laugh, not because it was a perfect joke, but because it was her joke. It was real. He walked out of the garage and locked the door behind him, leaving the fragments of Project Hindsight in the dust. He finally understood. Perfection is a blueprint, but life is the construction site, messy, chaotic, and wonderfully imperfect. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more.